Christmas morning, 2022, and I had a little story that I thought I would share with you, maybe give you a life or two, I don't know. When I was a kid growing up, I grew up in Fontana Village, which is located in far western North Carolina. Now, back in the 60s when this happened, we got one television station for the longest time, and then finally there was another one, but there was a couple of network affiliates located in Knoxville. And the ABC affiliate had, not ABC, I'm sorry, it was NBC, WATE TV, if I'm remembering correctly. And they had a program that came on every Sunday morning. It's called Mull's Singing Convention. And it was hosted by this gentleman and his wife. His name was Reverend, he was a preacher, Reverend J. Basil Mull. And his wife's name was Elizabeth. Now, he hardly ever called her that. I don't remember him ever calling her that on the television show, but I found it on the internet. But regardless, it was a little program, and they had gospel music on Sunday morning. Different performers would come, and if you were anybody in the gospel music industry at that point in time, at some point you would be on Mull's Singing Convention, because that's how people got to know you. And I can remember we watched it every Sunday morning. Now, Preacher Mull was blind, and I didn't know that till I was a grown man. I just thought he was just a regular fellow, but he was blind. And his wife, Lady Mull, sat on his left side, and she would put her hand on his left knee, and if there were 2 or 3 cameras, she would pull his knee whichever direction of the camera that was live at that particular moment, so he'd know where to look. And so if she pulled his knee to the left, he would turn his head to the left, to the active camera, and to the right, and so forth. And she was kind of his sounding board, but he did most of the talking. Lady Mull was kind of stoic, I guess, and she may not have been in real life, but on the show she was kind of dry, and she didn't say a whole lot. But in those days, you know, local businesses supported these shows and programs. And one of Mull's Singing Convention's biggest supporter was a fella called Kaz Walker. Now, Kaz was a character in his own right, and he had a pretty successful chain of grocery stores in East Tennessee, and he was kind of ahead of his time in the way he marketed stuff. But anyway, Kaz was one of their bigger supporters, and it was about Christmas time, I remember. And back in the day, and even still today, you can go to Walmart and find them today. All the grocery stores will have a big bin full of mixed nuts. They'll be like English walnuts and pecans and hazelnuts and Brazil nuts and all different kinds of nuts. And people kept them in their homes at Christmas to, you know, to have them set on the coffee table. And I can remember Mom always had them. She had a hand-turned walnut nut bowl from the Log Cabin gift shop in Fontana, and that gift shop always carried handmade items, and this was a beautiful bowl, but it had a nutcracker and with several picks in it, and she'd always have that on the coffee table. And you know, when folks came, or just the family sitting around in the evening, we'd sit around and crack nuts and talk. This is before the days of everybody being absorbed with their iPhones or Androids or whatever. But anyway, Kaz Walker was like I said, he believed in selling volume, and he had good deals on a lot of stuff. So this particular Sunday, like I said, it was close to Christmas, and he was advertising for cows and you know, saying what good deals he had on Christmas stuff. And anyway, and he roared back like this, and he said, and Cows Walker's got the biggest nuts in town. Ain't that right, Lady Mullen? He kind of looked over at her, and she turned red as a pickle beet. Now, I don't think Preacher Mullen realized exactly what he'd said, but that just stuck in my mind, and I thought, well, you know, it was live TV, wasn't any recording, so that one slipped by. But anyway, she was embarrassed all get out. Now, you can look them up on YouTube. Cows Walker's on YouTube. Look them up, and you can find the Mull Singing Convention, and it's interesting, and it goes back to the days of not early television, but television was getting its game on at that point in time. People were learning how to market using television. Now, I'll say this about this shirt I got on. This is Lubeck, Maine. Not Lubbock, I was told, Lubeck. So, and the reason I know that is our neighbor down the road, she used to live there years ago, and about 4 or 5 years ago, her husband had passed away, and she wanted to go. And so Jeannie and I and the neighbor loaded up in the car, and we drove up to the northernmost part of Maine, and this is where that is. That's the end of the world as far as I'm concerned. Now, you can look over and see Canada, but anyway, it's an interesting place to go. If you get a chance, go up and look around northern Maine. It's very interesting. I will say this, if you have a family that's well and healthy today, then, you know, be thankful for it. So many folks are suffering. So many people have different issues going on in their lives. A lot of folks have physical issues. A lot have emotional and mental issues. So remember them today when you sit down with your family, and just remember that Christ came for us all. And so thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoy it. It might be a little off color, but most of you watching it are pretty grown people. So I hope you don't beat me up too bad on this. Thank you again. If you like to hear these, I've got several more lined up. If you enjoy them, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be posting several more from my childhood. But if you don't like them and think I'm wasting my time, hey, tell me so, okay? Anyway, blessed Christmas to you. Thank you for watching.